If we haven't met before, I'm Sarah, an end-of-life planning advocate, normalizing conversations about end-of-life and estate planning before those conversations are necessary. Estate planning has a reputation for being complex and time-consuming. While parts of it can be, depending on your situation, some tasks, a lot of tasks, are likely easier than you think. To get you started, here are 5 things that you can do, or at least get a solid start on, in 10 minutes or less. While some of these tasks will still be incomplete after only 10 minutes, taking a first step will put you in a better position than you were before. A journey of 1,000 miles and all that. Task number 1, start a living will or an advanced care directive. What medical choices do you want made if you're incapacitated? Who do you want to make decisions on your behalf? What form or forms you will need to answer these questions will vary by location. Some states call it an advanced care directive, others a living will. Maybe it's an appointment of healthcare agent or a nomination of a healthcare proxy. While the specific form and terminology will vary, you're looking for 2 things. First of all, a place to document your healthcare choices and preferences. For example, whether or not you want CPR or a feeding tube. Many forms also have a narrative section where you can document your values and what's important to you. This is often, but not always, called a living will. Second, you'll want a document appointing who you want to act and to make choices on your behalf if you are incapacitated. This person is your healthcare agent. To make it extra confusing, in some states, these are 2 separate documents. In other places, it's 1 document with 2 sections. Where I am in California, an advanced care directive is the name for a single document that contains both the living will and the appointment of healthcare proxy in a single document. While this form will take you more than 10 minutes to complete, that is likely more than enough time to take the first step: obtain the paperwork. A good place to start here is with your primary care doctor or healthcare insurance company. Most have forms that you can use. If you aren't insured, search health insurers in your area. Many have forms available online that you can download even if you aren't insured. And most states have default forms available online, though fair warning, while the state forms I've seen are perfectly legal and accurate, they are usually pretty ugly, which doesn't matter at all when it comes to their validity. It just makes filling out the form a little less pleasant. So, task number 1, obtain the paperwork for your living will or advanced care directive. Task number 2, add beneficiaries to investment and retirement accounts. Not all of your assets have to pass via a will. Accounts with named beneficiaries will pass directly to that beneficiary after you die without having to go through the time and frustrations of probate. So review your investment and retirement accounts, and if you've already named a beneficiary, take a minute to review those beneficiaries and make sure they are still current and accurate. And if you haven't already named a beneficiary, or if you aren't sure, review your retirement and investment accounts and name a beneficiary now. So, task number 2, contact the firm where your investment or retirement accounts are held, and they can help you name a beneficiary on your accounts. Task number 3, declutter. Not every estate planning task has to feel like estate planning. Yes, decluttering is estate planning. Everything that you bring into your home or save on your computer will one day have to be removed by someone. You, your spouse, your people. You are in the best position to know and get rid of things you don't care about. So throw, recycle, delete, or sell stuff you no longer need or no longer want. So task number 3, spend 10 minutes decluttering your real or virtual life. Task number 4, document your stuff. Consider how many services you subscribe to that someone will have to cancel someday. Will your someone know those accounts exist or know how to access them? Do you want your someone to have to, while mourning your loss, while dealing with lawyers and funeral homes, also have to deal with resetting your Disney Plus password so they can cancel your account? Keep a list of services you subscribe to, your usernames, and your passwords. Like your living will, documenting all of your accounts and passwords will take way more than 10 minutes, but that's more than enough time to start. And once the list is started, it's much easier to add to it later. The first option here, if you haven't documented anything, is to simply decide where and how you want to document your stuff. Popular options include analog notebooks or 3-ring binders, or digital options like Notes apps or Notion. If you aren't sure where to keep this list, just pick an option and start. You can always change it later on once you have a better idea of the information you are documenting. Just make sure that someone knows about this list and is able to access it. Keeping a perfect and up-to-date list in Evernote won't do anyone much good if no one knows it exists or no one can access it. If you already have an idea of where you want to start documenting your stuff, a second option here is to add 5 things to your list. Not sure what to document? Shameless plug alert, I have a free summary of items to include that's in a blog post that will be in a link in the description. I also have a When I Die full printable workbook available for sale on my website. Again, a link will be in the description. It's over 100 pages long, so believe me when I say there is a lot that can and ideally should be documented. But don't let the fact that there's a lot to document stop you from getting started. If you only document your email password, your online banking password, your lawyer's name, where your people can find your will and your passport, that's something, and your people will appreciate knowing that information. So task number 4, document your stuff. And item number 5, add a legacy contact to your online account. Dealing with your digital legacy is a huge undertaking, which only seems to be getting more complicated and more involved by the year. Setting up a legacy contact with the platforms that have made it an option is a great start. Google, Apple, and Facebook all allow you to name a legacy contact who can access your accounts after your death and perform certain actions. Each service has its own setup process and rules about what your person can or can't access or do. Review the service's FAQs for more information. Pick the platform that you use the most and set up a legacy contact. Fun/creepy fact, Google's service is actually an inactive account manager. Google is so entwined in our lives, they'll assume you're dead if you don't access any of your Google stuff for the time frame that's set. The default is currently 2 years, but that changes occasionally, and you can set that time frame to be as long or as short as you want. So task number 5, pick a platform and set up a legacy contact. See? That wasn't so bad. In under an hour, you can do all 5 and start moving your estate plan in the right direction. You'll be in a better position than you were before. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and also consider hitting the subscribe button for regular end-of-life and estate planning information.